My brother-in-law's best friend has a huge crush on my wife and is trying to sleep with her, and my brother-in-law is encouraging it. I told him I was uncomfortable with them coming over as I'm pregnant, but my brother-in-law then asked if he and Charlie were isolated for 2 weeks, would they be able to come over? And my wife said it was fine. 2 weeks later, they turned up to my house. My wife was in her office, so they went straight to the pool after making small talk. My wife ended up coming out after an hour and was hanging out in the kitchen. My brother-in-law walks in to get a drink and he starts talking to my wife. Before he goes back to the pool, he says Charlie's going to be so happy to see you. It was weird because my wife and Charlie aren't close. Charlie comes into the kitchen 2 minutes later dripping wet with his towel not covering much and spends the rest of his time talking to my wife until she excuses herself to get back to work. He's super giggly and smiley when he talks to her. She would say something sarcastic, and he would laugh like it was the funniest joke he's ever heard. It honestly felt like he was flirting with her. Before he went back to the pool, he gave me this weird smirk. Before they leave, they asked my wife if she's working from home every day of the week. She confirms she is. The next 2 weeks, they come over to the house to swim every single day, except Charlie never gets in the water. Instead, he hangs around the house in his swim trunks every single day. Whenever my wife comes out to hang around me, he quickly interrupts her and keeps her talking until she has to go back to work. I made lunch for us all, and when I excused myself to call my wife down, my brother-in-law quickly stopped me and said Charlie could call her for me. They shared a look and Charlie looked really happy when he went to get her. Charlie has also started to get touchier with my wife. He's put his hands on her chest and arms, stands or sits really close to her. To my wife's credit, she does usually create space between them whenever he does something like this. The reason I believe my brother-in-law is in on this is because he's made a few pregnancy-related jabs at me recently. He told me a story about how one of his friend's girlfriends was cheating on him and then said something along the lines of, "Did you know a lot of women start cheating when their husbands are pregnant?" He's also made comments about how I look chubby now. It looks weird next to my wife because she's well built. If he spots my wife out of the office, he quickly goes to inform Charlie. Update. I was thinking of how I was going to bring up the issue. Turns out, I didn't have to. We were